We started by looking at the similarities between generative AI and a search engine. We've now seen that there are some considerable differences. The table summarizes the key differences. Using Google and ChatGPT as examples, we enter short phrases and keywords into Google, but enter detailed prompts in natural language into ChatGPT. Google finds existing information and gives you a list of websites. ChatGPT generates new and original content in the form of text, images, music, and videos. Google offers a one-shot result. ChatGPT engages in a two-way conversation. In short, a search engine is like a librarian, analyzing what you want and handing you a pile of websites. Generative AI is like a personal, creative assistant that helps you do the job, saving you time and making life a bit easier. Now you've had time to get to know chatbots, we'll look a bit deeper into generative AI, how it works, and how to stay safe. We've already discussed that AI is like a giant digital brain. You enter your prompt, the digital brain determines your goal and analyzes a vast amount of information to create the output in the format you've requested. Generative AI is like having a personal assistant who knows almost everything. We focused on the prompt and the output, now we'll focus on the giant digital brain, which is also known as an LLM, or large language model. In fact, you'll often hear chatbot and LLM used interchangeably. Where does the vast amount of data come from? A major source is the World Wide Web. Websites are scraped, as it is called, scraped to collect huge amounts of data. And while old-style computers were programmed, generative AI is trained on all this data. However, the LLM doesn't know things like humans do. It has no memory, but it's a master at seeing patterns, and it learns to identify patterns in the data. So when you enter a prompt, the LLM sees the pattern and predicts the most likely next word. It's all done by maths and statistics. Here's a simple example of how it works. If I say to you, old, what do you think the most likely next word would be? What if I said it was a children's song about a rural area with animals? Yes, it's Old MacDonald had a farm. We got there by recognizing the pattern of the clues and context in a similar way to AI, and this is an important point to note. AI's output depends on context, so the clearer your prompt, the better the result. What if the chatbot you're using hasn't been trained on children's songs, and it doesn't have knowledge of Old MacDonald? Your chatbot won't say, I don't know. It might say the answer is Old Man River, or one of many other possibilities. So be aware that generative AI can be wrong. If the chatbot you are talking with has gaps in its data, it will carry on predicting the next most likely word, which can result in a very plausible but inaccurate output. When this happens, AI is said to be hallucinating. The risk of hallucinations means it's important that you ask your chatbot for sources, and check those sources, and it's important that you cross-check important facts with other sources. We've said that the giant digital brains, or LLMs, have no memory, but chatbots can remember chats and things you tell them. Chats are saved in accessory computers, like we save our documents in the cloud. The important thing to note is that, by default, the chats you have with a chatbot are used for training AI. You can usually opt out, but even if you do, chats are audited by humans to improve responses and check for harmful content. You cannot guarantee that your chats are private, so don't enter financial details or discuss anything sensitive. Give it the postcard test. If it's not something you'd want the postman to see, then it's not suitable for a chatbot. There's often anxiety in the media about AI. Some people fear that AI will make humans redundant, and there's always someone who thinks their chatbot is a sentient conscious being. Chatbots have been trained to act kindly, to respond empathetically, to appear interested and friendly, but they have no feelings, no opinions, no intentions, and they're not conscious. We've seen that chatbots can create new text, images, and music, but they don't do any of that without human prompting. You won't open a chatbot and find it's penned a few poems or painted a landscape. You bring the inspiration and creativity, the emotional intelligence, and the critical and ethical judgment. You're in control. AI is your assistant. It's time for you to have a go yourselves, so just a quick reminder of the 2 golden rules. I can sound confident and still be wrong. Remain skeptical, ask for sources and check facts. And privacy cannot be guaranteed, so don't share any information in chats that you wouldn't want to write on a postcard. With those words of caution, it's time for you to get hands-on. Here's a reminder of the TCO prompt structure. You can leave this open while you practice. Remember, you can't break AI. The best way to learn is to play and explore. So let's get chatting.